Welcome to A Talk with the County Manager. I'm Carol Bowden, Clerk to the Board of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners, and obviously this is our County Manager, George Wood. Good morning, George.
Good morning, Carol.
George, we're coming to the point where you've had about 40 years with county management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're going to be retiring at the end of this year, and I know I've said that before, but today I thought, let's go back and talk about 1977.
Okay.
Try really hard.
I'll have to try really hard.
You know, at some point, obviously, you went to college, and go ahead and tell everybody where you went because you're a proud alumni.
I went to Georgia Southern University.
All right. And so at some point you said, I want to go into county administration or town administration.
Yeah, I got into city management. I took a course in college in state and local government and really enjoyed it, and found out more about city managers. I'm from Savannah. We had a city manager, so I was somewhat familiar with it. And it looked like it'd be an interesting career.
You know, if there was ever somebody that chose the perfect career, I believe it was you, because you have come into Wayne County, and in just the 3+ years that you've been here, the amount of work that you've done, the amount of projects that you've accomplished or gotten started is unprecedented. And so I do feel like you went directly into what you should have gone, and you never wavered from that. You've stayed in local government your entire career.
Yeah, I spent about 30 years as a city manager, and then I made the transition over to county government in 2008 when I went to Lincoln County.
Okay.
And so I've enjoyed both aspects of it. I have more of an appreciation for county government now than I did when I was a city manager, you know, and that's probably true for city managers too. Probably don't fully appreciate what counties face until they do it.
Right.
And Craig, it's interesting, Craig Honeycutt, our assistant who's going to be the manager, has that same background because he spent about, I guess, 16 years in city government and then moved over to county government as well. So I think that's I think it broadens your perspective on things.
Well, and it also gives you an opportunity to work well with our city manager.
That's right.
And that's a relationship that's grown very strong since you've been here.
Yeah, I'm proud of that. Scott is an excellent city manager. We're all very fortunate to have him in Goldsboro. And we've been able to work through a number of joint projects together. Probably the biggest one most people know is the Maxwell Center. That's gone extremely well. The city's been very cooperative on that. And I think we have as well, one of the things we've done, for instance, when they gave us the property for that and we worked out the agreement, we actually had Scott, Mayor Allen, and Gene Aycock, one of their board members, actually on the committee that helped design it, so that met with the architect. So it really has been a joint project. While it's owned by the county, the city has had quite a bit of input into the design of it.
And that's huge to have that collaboration when you have two local governments.
It is, and we've been very pleased with the outcome. I think the public, when it opens in March, is going to be extremely pleased with the facility. And I know you've been in it several times, so you already know what they're going to be looking at.
It is incredible, and you're going to come back in March when we have.
Oh yes, I wouldn't miss that. We'll be here.
What would you say are the two greatest differences between city management and county management?
I guess the biggest thing is that in city management, all of the department heads are appointed and are supervised by the city manager. In county government, we have a number of folks that are elected. For instance, the sheriff is elected, the register of deeds is elected, and then you have the DSS director and the public health director, both of whom are appointed by boards that are, now those boards are appointed by our Board of Commissioners, but they don't answer directly to the county manager.
Right.
So in those cases you have to work cooperatively with people, but you're not their supervisor. And that can make a difference. It hasn't here because we've had cooperative working relationships with everybody. And I'll just have to say, Larry Pierce is probably the best sheriff in the state of North Carolina. He is exceptionally good. You know, a lot of them are good on the law enforcement side.
Right.
And Larry is certainly that. But what really separates Larry is he's got a business background.
Yes.
And he runs it in a very business-like fashion, makes excellent decisions on his budget, equipment purchases, things like that. So I just think the world of Larry.
I tell you what, we have lucked out because, of course, we had Kerry Winders prior to Larry, and he was so loved. But now to have Larry Pierce fill those shoes and really have his own shoes, so to speak, he's done a phenomenal job.
He really has.
I guess the next question that I have is, there are so many different working components, and you just kind of described that a little bit. What's your greatest challenge on a day-to-day basis because of that?
I guess the biggest thing day to day is just trying to keep up with what's the most important thing to be moving on today. And
hence your 50 project list. But.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. And of course your priorities change daily because, you know, we have our list, as you talked about what we'd like to get done, but you get thrown into circumstances every day, things that we didn't initiate but that hit our desk.
Right.
And so sometimes you come in thinking you're going to knock out 3 projects today and you leave at 5 and you didn't touch them because we had 2 or 3 things that kind of blew up or that hit our desk that we weren't counting on. And so I think that's the biggest thing. The biggest challenge, I think, you've got to remain flexible and deal with the most important thing first and keep going.
I give you the right not to answer this question before I actually ask it, but compare this board that you're working with to other boards or councils that you've worked with in the past.
I'll reserve the right. No, I'm kidding. No, they've been very good. Been very good. In fact, one of the reasons I decided to come out of retirement and take this job was I was impressed with the board. I was impressed with the fact that they wanted to get some things done. And as a manager, you know, that's one of the key things I look at. When they're interviewing us for a job, we're also interviewing them because I don't care how good the manager is. If the board doesn't want to do things or it's so divisive they can't do something, you know, this job is pretty impossible at that level.
That's a good point.
So when you get a board that by and large works well together, most of our decisions are bipartisan. You know, we occasionally have differences of opinion, but that's healthy. There's no problem with that. But they also have the ability to disagree in an agreeable manner. There are boards that don't do that. I unfortunately have worked with some of those. And, you know, in those cases, you just hope for the next election and things get better. But this has been a very good board to work with. And consequently, they have gotten a lot done.
We're going to step out of county manager's shoes for a moment and just be George Wood. You're married to an absolutely beautiful, wonderful woman named Pam, and your son Andrew is back home kind of keeping things running for you there. What do you look forward to after December 31st in terms of family and retirement?
I think just relaxing initially, but after that I'll probably get a little bit bored. So I'm not quite sure what I'll do after that. But right now just relaxing, spending more time with Pam and Andrew. And you know, she's been there for 40 years. We've been married, we will have been married 38 of those 40 years I've been working in this. I met her in my first manager's job in Lancaster. And you know, it's been a good ride. I agree with you, she's a fantastic woman.
She is.
She's put up with a lot. And but I think mainly just relaxing and spending time together and do a little traveling.
I'm going to stay in touch with her to see if you actually can grasp that concept of retiring and relaxing, because I don't see you doing that very often. You did on the golf course the other day. I was very proud of you for that, and maybe you'll practice a little more.
Do a little
on your
bit
game.
more of that. Yeah.
Well, that'll be good. I don't know of anything else right now that we have to talk about. We've discussed the projects ongoing. We did that at the last meeting. Of course, we've got a meeting coming up on November 7th nothing really huge stands out about that, but just business as usual, right?
Business as usual. We'll continue to move on several projects, and as you know, a couple of those things should be on the agenda this coming
They should.
meeting. Again, one of them, we are working with the city on something now, actually 2 projects now, and both of which might be ready for the agenda at the next meeting.
Well, thank you so much. That concludes our talk with the county manager, and we'll be back next month. I'm Carol Bowden, clerk to the board of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners.